What's up, everybody? I'm Coach Brian, and I wanted to do something to celebrate love. I wanted to show relationships in all their different facets, whether it was with couples or singles. So today I'm sitting down with one of my favorite couples, and I don't want to take too long to get into it, so let's do it. And let's start by you guys introducing yourselves, tell us how long you guys have been together, and then tell us how you met.
Right. Well, I'm Marlon.
I'm Travis.
We've been together for 3 years now as a Christmas.
Okay. Happy belated anniversary.
Thank you so much. So 3 years. If you do the math, that means that we became a couple in the pandemic.
Yep. In kind of probably right in the middle of the pandemic. Is that?
It was bad.
Elaborate on that. And tell us exactly how that go. Who sent news first? Tell us that.
Well, I
Oh, that's exactly what happened.
I am that one.
Oh, he was the person.
That's him. That's his comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's my Mr. Nasty.
So if it was like, was it a social media thing? One of y'all noticed each other on social media, and that's how that happened, or how did it happen?
Kind of. It was social media originally when we were just friends. We were friends for a few years.
Oh, so you were friends before the relationship?
Yeah, definitely. I was in another relationship, so yeah, and that relationship ended at the beginning of the pandemic. And,
Oh, okay. So when you were in a relationship, you guys were friends. Okay, were you friends? Were you all? Are everybody friends, or you two were just friends?
we were friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There's something missing here. I'm trying to.
There's nothing missing.
There's nothing missing. It just wasn't optimal
Oh, okay.
for what an ideal person would want, how they would want to get into a relationship.
Okay, gotcha.
But like I said, it was during the pandemic. He was in a relationship. I was trying to get back with my ex.
Okay.
Then the pandemic happened, and we just came closer.
Okay.
And
Wow. So let me ask you this: is it that you pursued him? Is that how that worked, or who pursued who?
I think that's really a hard question to ask.
What's the easy answer?
The easy answer is Travis.
Travis pursued you.
I'm the problematic one.
Oh, okay, you're the problematic one. Okay, we'll go with Travis pursued you. That sounds like an easy answer. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. So when you guys were, I'm gonna say doing what you were doing because I don't want to put a label on it. And I actually want you guys to kind of identify what it was. So in the beginning, when we're dating people, getting to know people, or having situationships, everybody calls it a lot of different things. And everybody's definition of what dating is different. So before you guys knew you wanted to be in a committed relationship, what is it that you guys were doing prior to that? Like, what would you call it? Courting, getting to know,
I think
dating,
we're vetting each other.
vetting each other. Okay.
And I say that because we're both very, we're both very strong, and we know what we want, and we both can be assholes at times. So we both are no nonsense as well.
Yeah.
So me knowing what I wanted, him coming out of the situation, not really wanting to go directly into something else.
Right.
It was a thing, like you said before, we were friends. So it was a thing of, if you take your time, whenever you've healed and done the things that you need to do to get over it and to move on, then that's when we can
Pursue the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like that. I think, when it comes down to employment, they got us, or we got them. And I think when you get to a certain point in life when you truly know yourself, that's exactly what it is. Like, I need to see that who you are, if it meshes with who I am. Because I already know what I like and I know what I'm not dealing with. So I need to see whatever you're coming to the table with, if it meshes with who I am as a person. Okay. So tell me one of the things that you enjoy
About Travis? Travis, the thing that I enjoy about him is also the thing that probably pisses me off too.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Travis is very challenging for I want to say we're both very alpha. And Travis forces me to be more vulnerable and more submissive in particular moments when, we're heated, and I don't want to say it's therapeutic, but it definitely helps me grow as a person. That challenge, it shows me sides of myself that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could be a softer person. I didn't know that I could say I love you as frequently as I do now. So that
Feels good, right?
Yeah,
That
it
feels
feels good.
And when I tell you, I absolutely can relate to that. A lot of people ask me how long I've been in my relationship and how I can be in it as long as I am. And I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to my partner. We think about things totally different. Like, and I think that's part of what frustrates us about each other. But I know he's a mirror for me. A lot of the things that I don't have, and I can look at him because I also know that who I am exists with him, and vice versa.
Yep.
But being able to see me through him is what challenges me and
Right.
what helps me to grow. And as long as we're both still growing, then I'm not doing it.
That's it.
Okay. And how about you? Tell me something that you like about him. And get ready, you know what the next question will be.
He can cook. No.
Well, just don't us.
Listen. No, but I think the thing that I like about Marlon, it's very similar to him, but he keeps me level. I am a person who has grown up in a military family. I like to have my way. When I don't have my way, I can become a certain type of way. But Marlon definitely challenges me to see things out from a different perspective. I like to look at things like this is where I want, this is what it's going to be. And then when the roadblock happens, I'm just
Lost.
all over the place.
Right.
But he reels me in, he keeps me grounded. So I think that's one of the things that I really love about him, and I appreciate that.
Love for that. Okay, so here's a question that I think would be beneficial for those who are hearing this. So often, I feel like I hear relationships, and look, longevity is not necessarily the goal, right? Healthy and sustainability to me and peace is what the goal is. But I feel like so many people throw in the towel so quickly. As soon as there's a roadblock, there is a hiccup, the work to get over the hump, everybody just want to throw in the towel. Can you guys think about, a thing, situation, a feeling, something in the relationship that was tough, that if you guys didn't push past it, then the relationship could have dissolved. But somehow you guys were able to come together to push past it, which we all know in relationships, when you do that, it's just another level of growth for the relationship. Do you have anything that come to mind?
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see if y'all would say the same thing.
It's going to be the same thing. That's why he's like, absolutely. It's going to be the same thing. I threw in the towel before.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, Travis challenged me, those two alpha personalities, and we clash. I have a history of anger and violence, not domestic violence, but just, I'm not one to talk. I'm not a big talker.
Chop your head off.
I am a fighter.
Yeah.
And like I said, he can test me, and he was testing me too early in our relationship to a point where I was like, hey,
Okay.
if this happens again,
Yeah.
I cannot promise you that we
Gonna be okay.
are going to be okay.
Absolutely.
And so I had to leave
Yeah.
for both of us.
I
And
guess, yeah.
yeah, and I still love him, and
Yeah.
didn't love him any less. And I said, because I love you, and I don't trust myself,
Let me
you
go.
know, let me walk,
Yeah.
let me leave, because I don't want my us to get hurt.
And so that's your same sentiments of what the thing is as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't even think about that. It depends on when the challenges, show up. I would guess, when they're early on, some people may think, hey, this is too much to do too soon. But I will say, I don't know why we do that when it comes down to relationships, in the sense that, all other areas of life, if some of the roadblocks happen very early on, especially if it's our career, we'll push past it because it's the career we want,
Yep.
And so we'll keep going. A lot of people find themselves in jobs that they don't want to be in because they don't let it go early on. But in relationships, we put this thing on it like, hey, this has already happened. And I know me, I even advise my friends the same way. It's only been a month and y'all already dealing with this. Maybe you should let it go. Like, this is too soon for you guys to be having these type of issues. But I think there could be a beauty in it. Like, I think relationships come to us to teach us about us. What if there's a tool that you need in your toolbox, and maybe on week one, that person is standing there saying, hey, maybe you can use this tool. Okay, I got you. So I'm gonna ask you this: what is something that you feel like has happened in a relationship that's been one of those beautiful aha moments that reminded you that you chose the right person to be your partner? So I'll give you a minute if you need to think about it.
So being very transparent, I am a person who suffers from depression, anxiety, bipolar, all of that. I've had suicide attempts throughout my life. Things have gotten rough. He's known that. So early on, there was a situation that happened. The crazy thing is I can't even think exactly what it was
Yeah.
that happened, but I knew that I wanted to make another attempt. And he was scared, so he came home and he found me. And it's just like once you get that clear state of mind and you see the amount of love and care that a person has for you. Because to most people, they don't see that side of you. And you know, what we experience at home versus what we display on social media and stuff like that, it's completely different. It's the same, but it's very different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I saw, like, one, he cared, but two, he was pissed off at me for even doing that. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Let me find the will to live.
Right. Let me get around the beginning.
Yeah.
If he sees it in me, then, you know, let me see it.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I think, you know, first of all, thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you sharing that. I think you're going to speak volumes to people with that. And I think what you're truly saying, and what I think I've learned over the course of coaching, is that when somebody can stand in front of you at your most vulnerable, raw space, right? Because at that time, probably, but so I think what you're saying is that, you know, what I've learned over the course of coaching is that when people can see you at your very vulnerable, raw self, and still love you anyway, that's all we ask for from other people. And in that moment, you probably didn't have anything else to do but to show us your raw, authentic self, right? And so there was no other place to go but up. And for him to be there no matter what, it's an unconditional love that, you know, some people don't get to see. And so, you know, I'm so happy you guys were able to experience that moment, and so proud of you for being able to be there for him. And, you know, these are the things that I love hearing about. Okay, so just to change gears for a quick second, like, if you guys will have to describe your relationship in one word, what would you say?
Chaotic.
I'm gonna ask you one more time just to take care of that. So if you had to describe your relationship in one word, what would it be?
Chaotic.
Chaotic, okay. How about you? If you had to describe it in one word?
I would honestly have to say the same thing.
Chaos, okay, all right. So this must be the chaos that you guys love.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So I also believe that relationships aren't necessarily the end all be all, right? But I'm very much relationship oriented. So for people out there trying to find their own person and their own partner, what would you tell them is key into doing that? Or at least what worked for you, right? Because what works for you may not necessarily work for the next person, but there's some, you know, some starting point.
Yeah. So we're speaking to people who are single or actively looking for.
Actively looking, because you know there are people that are actively single.
Exactly.
We're talking to the people that are actively looking.
Awesome. For the actively looking people, I would say that you should be looking to discover who you are in your relationship. I feel like human interaction is what causes us to really figure out who we are and how we operate. It's really hard to do that in solitude. I'm not saying it has to be a romantic relationship, but it's just human interaction really just exposes who we are at our core. And if it happens to be through a romantic relationship, never stop growing, never stop developing who you are, never stop learning about yourself. It's just like I said early on, I never thought that I could let my walls down.
Right.
And think that I could be soft. Like people in my life who have known me my whole life look at me all the time and ask, who the hell are you?
Absolutely.
And everyone's calling this my soft era all of a sudden, and it's the weirdest thing in the
But it's
world.
working.
But yeah, but
It's growth.
it's a thing. It is. It's growth.
He's like, I like to think I had something to do with that.
Yes. I mean, yeah. So like you grow with this person, but also never stop working on yourself. And that's the thing that I want most people looking for relationships to know. They're always looking for relationships, and they want that to just be their thing. And it's just the only thing that you work at, the only part of your life that continues to develop. And it's not
That's
that.
not that.
This never stops. Never forget about the person. You
I
are.
love that.
Yeah.
You know, and I got one friend in particular I can think of, and I always say this too. And you're right, it doesn't actually have to be romantic relationships, but it should be that love and engaging relationship, whether that's with a friend, excuse me, or a family member. I truly think there's things we cannot learn about ourselves by ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You have to have that connection, that interaction, that back and forth, pour in, pour out with another individual,
Right.
and tap into some things about yourself you may not know. And so I'm trying to refresh the question as best I can, because I know we did a little bit of dialogue there, but the question is to you as well. You know, if you were to speak to single folks who are actively looking for a relationship, what would be a way that you would kind of like, you know, not necessarily advise them, but present to them, you know, your perspective?
My perspective would be to look for somebody who reciprocates the energy that you want, or that you're giving, rather. So many times you see nowadays online where people are like, oh, I'm doing this, that, and the third, and I'm just gonna throw in the towel because they didn't do what I wanted them to do the way that I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
So when you reciprocate that energy, to go along with that, you have to communicate what it is exactly that you want.
Yeah.
For us, it's a grow, like we still have to grow every single day.
Yeah.
You wake up and say, I'm glad and I'm happy to choose you today. But in that same breath, what do you need from me? I know what you're giving to me, but how can I give it to you so that you receive it the way that works best for you?
Right.
So
I got it.
find somebody that does that. And
Home free. I hear you. I love that. Well, thank y'all so much for sharing. I so appreciate it. And like I said, I think this is going to speak volumes to people. Okay?
thank you for